Hey everyone! So this is going to be an all signs reading for Beltane messages. We're going to start with Taurus and go to Aries. Beltane is a Celtic celebration for anyone who does not know. It gives me an excuse to use this deck, which is the Beltane Oracle from Seasons of the Witch. And if you know me, you know I love Seasons of the Witch. They're like my favorite Oracle decks. So whenever I can use them, which is typically seasonally, I get really excited. I'm going to try to get this uploaded for May 1st, May Day, which corresponds with Beltane. So with Beltane, we're talking about fertility and life and health and wellness. It's a fire festival. So basically it's about, protection and celebrating life, celebrating birth and renewal and all these things. It's like the halfway point between spring and summer, right? The solstices. I don't know if that's actually true based on our calendar, but that's the typical traditional rationale behind it. So I love all things Celtic, as you might also know if you know me. Despite not really being very Celtic, I'm Welsh and English. My daughter, however, is Irish and Scottish, so we're basically anarchy in the UK over here. So I'm just going to get started, and of course then I'm going to be super annoying, and I'm probably going to break this up into individual videos as well, because that's always fun. So, Capricorn, I'm at the point in reading right now that I was feeling like I'm ready to be done. Like, I'm sick of doing this. My butt hurts from sitting here, and I got up and I wandered around for a minute, and I went to the bathroom, and I was called to work on the laundry. I'll get to that in a minute. I just want to tell you, your card is Fae, number 9. And so I'm kind of feeling here like, as I was doing that, because I take everything as part of the reading, and this is a little unusual because I don't normally get up and walk around, right? But I paused the video to do that. I do feel like that might be a message for you. Like, there's a need to sort of clean something up, right? There's a need, like, if there are things that you are just sick of doing, and you're tired, and you just, you don't want to do it anymore, maybe it's time to take a break, right? Maybe you need to clean up some things, whether it be literally or metaphorically in your life. I mean, I definitely feel like that could apply across the board. It could be about your food, it could be about your friends, it could be about your attitude or your literal environment, your body, like, I don't know. But I feel like that could be a message for you. So I wanted to share that before we get started. Card number 9 is about Fae. All right, the fairies. So it says, not everything not everything is as it may seem. Be cautious, dear one, for there is a story beneath the tale. Is that what that says? There's a story beneath the tale. Ooh, interesting. So this is like a riddle, right? Like, there's a story beneath the story, right? So this card is all about misunderstanding, miscommunication. Maybe that's what needs to be cleaned up, right? Your communication, the way you communicate. Once again, your social groups, things like this. Maybe there needs to be some cleanup done there, because something is either being misunderstood or blown out of proportion, or there's some sort of deception potentially underneath what you're seeing with your own eyes. Interesting. Okay. Again, card number 9. I feel compelled to look at the book for you a little bit. Let's see. Right, so the key word is misunderstandings. It says, the standard operating procedure for fairies is to be mischievous, devious, and playful to a fault, and for this reason they are often misunderstood. To them, they are simply living their lives as they always have and doing what is natural for who and what they are. You have pulled Fae because there has been a misunderstanding in your situation. Perhaps a miscommunication has occurred or someone is failing to see your point of view. Everyone has a different standard operating procedure, but different doesn't always mean wrong. Considering how you can be more compassionate for the people involved in the situation, you don't have to agree, but making space for the opinions of others can and often does diffuse any tense situations. You'll be surprised what you can learn by being a better listener, and may even find that all involved have been chasing the same thing the whole time, but just in a different way. The same is true if you're experiencing an internal struggle. Give any emotions you are experiencing time for expression. All right, well, that's actually a lot to unpack, in my opinion, a lot more than most of the other messages. I feel like there's a lot going on in that one. But let's take it from the top, I guess. For sure, you could have someone or something kind of being mischievous in your life. Or, you know, I can't help, I mean, I normally wouldn't want to do this at all, but I can't help but think of a Capricorn that I know personally, and I don't think most Capricorns are like this. However, I feel the need to point out that I personally know a Capricorn who, in my opinion, doesn't really take anything seriously, and, you know, that's to this person's detriment, I feel. So with my knowledge of that, I feel like perhaps I should point that out to you, that it could be you, right? Like, are you being sort of, well, I wanted to say off the cuff, so maybe that's appropriate. I don't know, but are you sort of being a troublemaker? Are you the problem, right? Take it if it resonates. You know, of course, most people who are problems refuse to actually look at themselves and admit that they're the problem. So there's that. But let's take it back. Let's reel it in. So the key here, right, is communication, and certainly a lot of us could work on our communication skills and get better at communicating. I feel that one should always say what they mean and mean what they say to the best of their ability. I don't believe in, you know, having to make people read between the lines or have to guess or interpret things like this is saying, like, you know, there's a tale under the story, a story under the tale, whatever. I mean, I think that's dishonest. I think it's problematic. And I think that if we have issues with communication where we can't speak directly what's on our mind, or directly what we're feeling, then that's, you know, whether this is you or another person, then that's a journey that we need to go on to learn how. We need to learn how, whether it's emotions and knowing how to identify the emotions that we're feeling and label them and express them. I mean, there are books, there are videos, there are courses that you can take to help you do this, and for sure that will help you in life, right? And, you know, beyond that, like communicating, like, and expressing ourselves, like, maybe sometimes we need to, I don't know, how do you like work on that? I don't know, like maybe expand your vocabulary, do a vocabulary building exercise, or I'm sure there's exercises out there for sure. I'm confident. I know, they do things like this in therapy or whatever. But a lot of times it's dealing with emotions, but so I'm thinking in the context of just communicating, like how to communicating. Anyway, just communication and like how to better communicate. Interesting. I don't know why that's so important. Maybe this is about like writing versus speaking, right? I have a problem with that for sure. Like, I'm way better at writing than speaking. I mean, I feel usually I write the way I speak, like typically, like unless it's for, something important, in which case you probably wouldn't even recognize that it's the same person because I tend to keep it real when I speak, whatever. I'm not going to say like I dumb myself down, but I try to be accessible because I really, really appreciate like authors and speakers who are accessible and they don't try to talk over you or act superior, things like this. I don't know why that's coming up, but it is. So let's see what we can pull. It's always good to work on ourselves, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's important here. I feel like someone's not working on themselves. And whether that's you or someone else, like Queen of Swords. Yeah, there we go. The Queen of Swords is a phenomenal communicator. She is sort of the epitome of meaning what she says and saying what she means. And okay, that must be why. I don't know why it's important here, Capricorn, but there's a message here about communication. Something you are saying, I'm thinking it's you because, I don't know, I'm just thinking it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's someone else. And maybe, I just saw a reflection and it lit up a light bulb in my brain. Maybe if it's not you, right? If someone, 1111, I just saw it on my clock. If someone is not communicating with you in a direct way and it's causing problems and it's, screwing something up, maybe you need to be the leader. Maybe you need to be a reflection of something better. Does that make sense? Like, you need to be the role model perhaps in this situation and reflect back to someone else, or maybe it's a group of people, and maybe you need to sort of school them by example. There goes my voice. Of what it means to speak with honor and integrity are the words that are coming to my head. And maybe you need to set an example for someone. But, if it is reversed, then I feel like that's what is being encouraged of you. To avoid misunderstanding, to avoid mischief and mishaps, you need to work on potentially saying what you mean and meaning what you say. That to me, that's a basic component of integrity. Like I was saying, I don't have much tolerance for goofy behavior. That's like the third time I've said that in these readings, but I don't like goofy people. I don't like unserious people, right? Like, I don't know. I know that I'm, I can be a cutthroat bitch that way. If people don't like it, I get told I don't have a sense of humor. I'm fine with that. because I really like straight up, open, honest, truthful communication and people who live by the sword, so to speak. So I don't know, I think I'm about to be beating a dead horse here in the message, but the key here, whatever, at the basic level, it's communication. Somebody, and you'll know if it's you or somebody else. I'm confident in that. And I do feel like there's this message here of sort of working on yourself. I mean, I'm not into that stuff. I'll be honest. I don't think I own more than 1 or 2 self-help books. It's not my scene. But a lot of people are really into it. Instead of doing that, right, I got 2 psychology degrees. So I don't know, it's just not my thing. It's very kumbaya, summer camp. But it can be very helpful. I've certainly, read some things that are quite profound. So I encourage you to explore whatever medium you prefer. Books, videos, even classes. They're definitely out there. I took actually a self-esteem workshop one time when I was much younger. Who was it? I think it was my rape counselor suggested it as a different means of support, like a supportive environment for me to explore dealing with the things you have to deal with in life after traumatic events, on top of what I was already doing. But I don't know why that's important for me to talk about. It probably isn't, but I'm going to move on, Capricorn. Thank you so much. I hope that helps you in some way.